Hello and welcome to another Rhino reverse engineering tutorial. In this one we're going to do a bottle, and I'm just going to take it at normal speed in this one because I've had a few people say that they wish the tutorials were a bit slower. I may just break it up if we go past half an hour. So this is the scan. It's come in orientated wherever it's not aligned. So first of all, we're going to align it. But even before that, we'll change the name of the layer and change it to 0 scan. Now we're going to use my normal trick, which I'll link to a more detailed tutorial in the description, where we basically just place some points on there. So I'm going to hit the vertex snap and then the number 1 annotation dot, and just going to identify an area that I think is going to be pretty flat and place 3 points on there. After that, we're going to use a 3-point alignment. So that's over here in the move menu. Right click on this one, orient objects by 3 points. Select object to orient, these guys. Okay, and we want to have our point snaps on, so now we'll snap to those points. Now we go into top view and we select project, and 1, 2, 3 clicks. Now our bottle will be vertical. Oh, it's upside down, that's okay. I'll click on it and 180 with the gumball. Back into top view. We'll drag it to about the center. And tell you what, we'll get rid of this other stuff. So Control Shift, sub-object select, delete those. Getting rid of those is going to make it faster to do the other things we need to do, because there's less processing for the computer to do as it moves the mesh. Okay, now click on this. I'm going to just rotate it with the gumball by eye to about there. Right, now I'm just going to click and go maybe 1 degree. That's a bit too much, so I'll go back 0.5 degrees. That will do for now. We'll go to front view. We'll check our vertical alignment. Sometimes I like to just draw a line, a vertical line, next to the job to see how it looks. Just make sure I have the right layer selected. There we go. And I just kind of hold the line up against certain elements of the scan, and to me that looks pretty good, really. Okay, for final alignment, I'm going to select it, and we're going to take a section which I believe is in the curve from objects menu. Just hit a section, start of section, end of section, press enter. Okay, now I'm going to go into top view, and I'm just going to hide the scan. Oh, okay. This section was on the scan layer, so I'll change it to the reference layer. There we go. Now, I find it quite easy looking at just some lines like this to see how our alignment is. And you can kind of tell that the bottle is slightly misaligned when you put these 2 red lines up against it. Just press F7 to hide the grid there. So to me it looks like we could really rotate it by 0.25, a bit more. Okay, looks like if we rotate it by 1 degree, it's going to be a bit better. So we just rotated the curve then, not the scan. So turn the scan layer back on, click on it, and rotate it by 1 degree. Okay, I think that's good. So I'll save my file and I'll save as Suncream bottle aligned. There we go. Great. Right, so I think the best way to tackle this kind of main body of the bottle is just through some lofting. And then this area, which is a little bit more complex, we'll have to do some network surfaces and patches. Here through to here is just going to be simple extrusions, and here will also be a simple extrusion or a sweep or something. So I guess we'll start with and I would say in order of difficulty, this area is probably the most difficult. This area would be the second most difficult. This one would be the third. No, this one would be the third most. Well, let's just say these ones are equal third because they're both pretty easy. Okay, so we'll start with. Normally you start with the hardest bit, but we'll start with this one so that when we build this out, we have surfaces to work off. In fact, we might even build out the surfaces above and below it, but we'll see how we go. So I'm going to make a new layer and call it sections. Double click on it to make it active. See, it's got a little tick there. Right, and I always like to make my layers like a fun color. Okay, so you can run the contour command, which I believe is also in the curves from object here, contour, and that will give you an even number. So we'll just run it. So that's the direction and the distance between contours, let's say 10 millimeters. Okay, that gives us a good start. However, on a job like this, you kind of need to look at the curves and you need to think about where you're going to need your loft lines. You're definitely going to need one at the bottom transitional area of every shape and certainly at the top. So the contour gave us something to get started with, but we will also run the section command and kind of choose where we want some of them. We get another one there, another one there. Now a good, I like using free lines, free kind of sections to get minimum of 3 sections to get through a tricky contour or radius, because at the end of the day, free points or free lines can describe a arc, so you really want minimum of 3. One on the quad, the widest part, and one either side, just as like a starting point. Okay, that should do it. And just to not confuse myself, I'm going to get rid of these ones up here because we're not doing that area yet. And yep, that's looking good. Some of the sections were on the wrong layer, so I'm going to type in cell curve, select all the curves and move them across to the sections layer. Relock the scan, select all the curves and make them all the same color by layer. Right, now I'm going to hide the scan. And we can inspect the sections. So I do a bit of quick filtering normally. So you can see we've got some scan artifacts there. So just to get an idea, I run a number of commands, and I'll note them out for you here. So I run cell open curve. Let's give that one a try. Okay, so we've got 3 open curves, so I'll get rid of those. Right, then I typically grab a curve that is the type that I want to get rid of, which are these small artifact curves, and I run the length command. 8 millimeters. Okay, so now I'm going to run, we ran length. Now I'm going to run cell short curve, I think it is. So cell short curve, and maximum length of, let's say 20. There we go. So that's filtered out all those short curves. Right, and I'll run it again. And what I'll do is I'll get a length off of one of these, 168. Okay, I'll run cell short curve one more time, and I'll run a length of 100, just to make sure there's no broken or weird curves in there. Okay, now finally I'm going to run cell close curve, which will just confirm that all of these curves we have left are closed. Cell closed curve. Okay, 18 curves. Then, because, well, this is just the way I do it, I normally run invert and then delete, just in case there's anything hiding in this layer that I don't want. So, invert. Okay, no objects added to selection, that's good. That means we don't have to delete anything. Cool, so the next thing to do is to quickly inspect the curves. We're going to do a loft with a rebuild setting, so we can get away with a few little bumps. That said, we don't want to have too many. So I can see there's something going on. You know, here. So I'll turn the scan back on and view what that is there. That is a scan anomaly. Okay. So, yeah, that one's quite unusual. Oh, I really don't know what. And that carries all the way through into the radius as well. Okay, well, with this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the split command by point. I'm going to split it here, and I'm going to split it here. Do the same with this one. Split command with point there and there. Right, and this one looks like it's okay. The other curves are all acceptable. Well, they don't need anything splitting out of them. So these ones, I'm going to use the blend curve command. Select curve to blend this one and this one. Tangent C, tangent C, yep, good. Same here. Right, that's a bit unusual, so we might just reduce the tangency there. Okay. This one has a bit of a bump in it, but I'm just going to delete those and those. Or maybe that one too. Same here. Get rid of that. That one, just get rid of some of those. You get the idea? Okay, the best thing to do at this stage is start lofting and see how it looks. So I'm going to run the loft command. Oh, okay, it looks like I haven't joined these. See how these aren't selected? I didn't join them together. I'll just select them and hit the join button. There we go. Okay, loft. I normally just select 2 or 3 because there's a lot of data here and I like to check my settings before I make it process too much. So I've selected 3 and I'm going to run the command. Okay, the endpoints are all lined up. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. So it's gone for do not simplify. And because the curves have a lot of points on them, it creates a very complex loft. Now, if I change it to rebuild with 10 and hit cancel, then run the command again, it will automatically default back to do not simplify. But what I've learned is if you run the command, change it to rebuild with say 30, hit OK, you can delete that. Next time you run the command, it will default to the rebuild option and process a lot quicker. And this can save you hours on a big job. So now what I do, I don't select them all at once, I just kind of work my way along the curve set and I turn the scan file on and off. Then I get a bit more confident, do a few more, have a quick look, turn the scan on and off. Okay, we've got a big step here to these ones. Cancel, escape out, do a few more. Okay, yeah, it's looking okay. This is like a preliminary inspection. Do a few more and run the loft command. Okay, I'll hit OK now, and now turn the scan on. Now I'm going to change the color of the scan. And then this is actually what we want to see, which is this kind of mottled surface, which means that the mesh and the surface exist in the same space. Now, obviously, they're not existing in the same space there. So an easy way to get a clue of what's going on there is to do a clipping plane. So before I do my clipping plane, I'm going to run the C-plane, set C-plane to world top command, and then I'm going to type in clipping plane. You can, if you want, snap to vertex, and turn off project. Okay, there we go. Right, and we can see what's happening there. Okay, looks like we've got our selection filter highlighted. There we go. Okay, so, well, looks like the scan has a bit more shape in it here than our surface, but that to me looks like an anomaly in the scan because there's no way the bottle should be that bumpy. So I'm thinking I'm okay with that. Same here, see how the scan is quite bumpy and yet the surface is remaining consistent. Okay, if anything, I'm thinking, let's just have a quick look at the surface, see if it's very neat. Yeah. Okay. I think we can do a bit better with the surface. I think we can actually reduce the number of control points that we use in the scan. I mean in the loft. So I'm just good. Now I know it all works. I'm just going to take a bit of a shortcut and go cell curve loft. Right. Not entirely happy with that seam point either. I'd rather that be on the middle. Gonna change the control points down to 20. Okay, it's too low. It's cutting the corners. 20, 25. Still cutting the corners. Okay, we can do a different technique. We'll go loose and we'll up it to 35. Right, okay, let's have a look at that. Well, that's looking pretty nice and neat. The only thing I'm not happy with now is this seam on the back. Don't often use this, but I'm just going to try a move seam. Okay, I don't know the command. What we'll do is we'll set it up in the loft. Also, don't know if you noticed, but there are a few bumps on this back side of the surface here. Might just have a look, see if there's anything we can do about that. Okay, I can see where some of that's coming from. It's coming from these points, so I select them. Right, okay, I think we'll just level out some of these points. We'll do that by selecting them and deleting them. Same here. This is a bit of a rough way of doing it. Okay. That's looking okay. That's not ideal actually. Let's Control Z, see what change I made. No, I'm happy with my changes. Okay, and thinking, you know, it's a symmetrical part, or at least this part of it is symmetrical. This side is clearly better than that side. I'll just loft one more time. Got a bit of a plan. Just keep playing with the settings till you find something you're happy with. 35. That looks pretty good to me. Okay. Yeah. This side is definitely better. So I think what we can do is do a bounding box. Bounding box with an output as a curve. There we go. Then run the area centroid command. That will give us a point. We'll extrude that point out. Trim the surface. Trim everything. Okay, and now we can mirror this. Select near and snap from this line to this line. There we go, it's looking a bit better. This back surface is still a bit bumpy, which I don't really like. So I'm just going to split with ISO curve. Split that back about there. Okay, I'm going to re-mirror off that central point. Delete, delete. Blend surface. Okay, it's a bit better. Just playing with the settings. Okay, I think we'll stick with what we've got for now. Okay, so that's kind of the main body done there. Okay, the bottom, we don't have a lot of information about the bottom, but we do know that it finishes here, let's say, and it kind of rounds out. Okay, like I said, we don't know a whole lot, so we'll just draw a plane there and scale it out a bit. Okay, going to get rid of these curves that are hanging around. Oh, actually no, those sections we'll make a new layer called surf, and we'll cell curve, change object layer to sections, double click surf, surfaces and surfaces, hide sections. Okay, select our surfaces, change them to the surf layer, turn off the sections layer. Okay, seems like a lot of effort, but it's worthwhile having your layers well organized. Okay, so gonna join this together and gonna dump border. Okay, that bottom border I'm going to extrude down like that, and I'm going to offset the surface by 5 mm. That offset as a solid, which I'd rather not do. So offset surface, and here where it says solid, click no. There we go. Now I'm going to select this surface and trim. See if I can trim this with that. Intersect to get a curve where they intersect, and trim. Oops, trim the wrong side. There we go. Okay. Delete that one. That we might just mirror again now. Well, I'll see which side looks nicer. Definitely that one. Okay, now I'm going to match up the edge splits. So I'm going to run the split edge command, and I'm going to split this one here. Run the command again. I'm going to split this edge here. Okay, so now I'm going to run the blend surface command. I can only imagine that's a bit what the bottle's like. Okay, looks like we've got an edge split. Oh, looks like we've got a bit of a artifact right there. Okay, so we need to do something about that. Okay, this side looks good, so I'm thinking we can run area centroid and run a line down this way. Delete this side, mirror, between bottom view. There we go. Okay, so split edge. Now we'll split this edge and line it with that. Blend surface. Okay, chain edges. Oh dear. Okay. Alright, we can try that. Okay, blend surface. Sorry, I'll try again. That one. No. Okay, we need to split that edge. Split edge. Oh, I see, it's a new surface. Yep, gotcha. Okay, because I mirrored the other side, it hadn't been split. That's what's going on there. Okay, there we go. That should work. Just keep blending surface. And yeah, sure, I'm making it up a little bit here. Okay, sometimes you have to work forwards to work backwards with blend surfaces. You get one nice one, you get a good edge, and you can do a sweep too. It's looking pretty good. And a blend surface, which I have coded to a keyboard shortcut, which is BS. Okay, and just like what I was talking about, Control Shift that edge, right click here, copy and paste, delete that. Now we do a sweep to using this edge, that edge, that edge. There we go. Okay, now we should be able to mirror that, I'm thinking. Actually, maybe that's not going to work. Getting into a bit of a mess here, but that's okay. Maybe we'll just mirror everything. Okay, it's important that everything gets joined together. And you can always tell if you've got a good quality kind of joined together surfaces with no gaps if you run the cap command and it works, which it did work, then you're not bad. And if it becomes a closed poly surface, then you're even better. But this is telling me it's an open poly surface, which means there are still some gaps in there. So I'm going to delete that because I don't need it. I'm going to run the show edges command. It's going to highlight any gaps. Wow, there's loads of gaps. So we'll address those now. there's obviously a gap there. Line there. Okay, there's gaps everywhere. Right, okay, this is serious. Okay, I'm going to delete these two. Run an edge surface from here to here, from here to here. Now let's sweep 2 from, okay, sweep 2 with chain edges from here to here to there. Okay, join those together. That's better. Okay, and do the same here. Not sure why we had doubled up surfaces there. And as the job goes on, I may mirror, well, certainly check for symmetry and potentially mirror again later. Said this before, but reverse engineering, you kind of keep building up on, or at least I do, you keep building up on your previous surfaces, going back and refining them, and you kind of start to figure out what you need. Okay, so we'll add this object to the show edges command. Okay, and it's only got 2 edges showing down here now, which is these ones. Okay, and you can see there's a little gap there, so let's fill that gap in. Yeah, so we'll just fill in those edges. Control A, select everything, join. Okay, now I'm only seeing one naked edge. So, and this is the acid test. If I click this and type in cap, it should make one closed solid. Let's have a look. Yep, one closed object. Cool. Right. Well, now that we've reached this milestone, I'm just going to take this opportunity to ask you to like and subscribe, like the video, and also subscribe to my channel. It's been growing pretty quick, for me at least. Got some great videos on here. This one's really cool. It's a swim fin that I reverse engineered and then 3D printed out of TPU. This one seems to be popular. It's a 3D scan that I reverse engineered and then sent to someone and it didn't fit and I had to fix it. Yeah, heaps of great content, as well as some more basic tutorials like aligning 3D scan data, various other things, draping points. I'm still learning how to do this and still playing with different type and size of videos. So yeah, if you could like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. I generally try and put out one video a week, and I am working my way up to doing a course, an online course, which will be like a masterclass in reverse engineering scan data. So yeah, thanks. Alright, so we'll turn the scan back on and see how we're looking. Look, I think we're good. It was a bit of a suspect scan, so we'll say that's looking okay. Alright, now I think we'll attack this area. So this for sure is just a few well-placed sections. So a bit of a strategy meeting, a bit of a game plan. I think we're going to section here, 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 and here, and here. Okay, let's hit it. So I'll double click on the sections. Actually, no, I'll make a new layer called sections 2. Why, you ask? Because I like to use those commands for filtering data, like Control A, select all, invert, delete, cell open curve. So if I create them on this layer, then I can isolate that layer and they're all there. Only exactly what I want is there. So we'll also unlock the scan, click on it, and this time I'm just going to type in section. Actually, I just typed in sec because Rhino auto completes. Okay, so, and ortho should be on, or hold the shift button. Yep, that one looks good. Okay, get 2 from here. I think that's going to be enough. That one, go about there. This one, 1 here, and this is going to be a tricky one, but 1 there. I might just go another one. I might just go, yeah, 3. Oh no, I might get 1 more. No, that one's too close. Okay, that'll do. Alright, so right click on there, 1 layer on. Oh, where did it go? Okay, so cell curve, right click, change object layer, 1 layer on. Okay, this part's pretty self-explanatory. First of all, we inspect the curves. Ooh, they're a bit ugly. Okay, so are they, in fact. Wow, they're all a bit dodgy. Okay, so I'm going to make another layer because I love making layers. And we'll call this layer circles. Change the color to green. Again, the reason I put it on a different layer is so it makes it easy to select the data. Okay, and what I just did there was I selected, what did I select? Oh no, not that one. This one. Circles, and what we want is a 3-point circle. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. I'm picking areas on the circles that obviously look kind of normal. 1, 2, and they want to be as far apart. Oops, not that. About as far apart as you rationally can put them without being in the area that is obviously having issues. Obviously on this scan that area is dodgy. Same for this one. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to hide sections 2 and I have just a group of circles. What I'm going to do now is go into top view, and really I feel these should all be aligned. Look, I don't have the physical article here anymore, but there's no way that that is not centered. That 100% should be centered. Now whether this is scan alignment data, scan data, a dodgy bottle, I'm just going to assume that these should all be centered. So what we do there is, well, actually, got to make a call. That bottom one looks pretty good to me. So select the bottom one, and we want to run the area centroid command. There we go. Top view, select all the circles, then the alignment toolbar and align centers on that point. Great. Okay, just have a quick look, see if that doesn't look too bad. That looks good. Okay, now we're going to loft this one and this one. These two. Okay, right, might do these separately. Good reason for that, which I'll get into in a second. I'll skip that middle one there. Okay, so for this one, I believe we should do a blend surface. This one to this one. Right. And we'll just adjust, we'll just play with the tangency on these guys. I think that looks about right. Same for these two. That looks about right. We've got a bit of a depression here for placing your finger in. Okay, it's pretty cool. Right, what do we do there? Okay, I think we're just going to put a point on the vertex. Hide the scan. Oh, yeah, okay. Gonna draw a circle on there. I'm making this up as I go along, sorry. Okay. Turn the scan back on. Go into top view. And sure, we'll realign it in a sec, but kind of get it to about the right size, about there. Okay, turn the scan off. Realign the circle. Trying to get my circle snap. Sorry, it's late, I'm getting a bit tired. Okay, right. Going to turn that into a planar surface, and I'll try and use the menu button instead of the keyboard shortcut. There it is. Oh no, that wasn't it. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, there we go. And we're going to blend the surface between here and here. Turn the scan on. Okay, we'll increase the tangency of number one. Look, I think that's good enough. Cool. Okay, same down here. Now this one, we're going to run the extend surface command just a touch. Yeah, okay, we'll try it. Okay, and let's just try running blend surface. See if we can get away with this without having a intermediate surface. Well, it looks like we can, and it's just tangent, tangent. And you notice that sometimes in 3D modeling, because obviously someone else modeled this at some point, the original manufacturer, and that person too just left it tangent, tangent, which is nice. Okay, and it looks like we come into a bit of a point here, so what's the best thing to do here? I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a section. Okay, just quick bit of a layer tidy up. And yeah, I guess I'll join all these. I know there's not going to be any issues with them, they're all joined together, but we'll do a test anyway. We'll try and cap it. One closed object. Okay, so I'll undo that capping. Okay, this can go onto the surface layer. Change object layer, surface. There we go. Well, it's looking alright. Okay, and those curves we'll use now can go onto sections. And I'm going to purge my layers because we don't want any unused layers. What's that circles layer doing? I think we can get rid of that too. Okay, what's on there? Select objects. We're going to point there. Okay, we'll delete that. Delete the layer. Okay, sections 2. What's on sections 2? Okay, that can go to sections 1. And we'll delete sections 2. Okay, cool. And I use this great plugin, Crayon. You can buy it online. It's super handy for client presentations and such. quite cheap, about $20. Okay. Right. So jump back on the sections layer. And I'm going to take one section just here. Okay, hide the scan. Oh, okay. Right, I wanted to talk about this earlier. So the sections, when you run the section command here on assign properties by input object, we want by current layer. So now it should, when we do another one, it should land on the sections layer and not on the scan layer. There we go. Okay, that's why I was losing it earlier. Right, I think just again, all of these circles seem to have this artifact at the back, so we'll just run another 3-point circle. So we don't want the near, we want the near snap. 1, 2, get rid of center, 3, and just isolate this to this. Bottom view, curve, align to center of this assembly. Oops. Get rid of near snap. It's just not working for me. There we go. Oh no. Okay. Sorry, this is taking so long. I don't know why it's doing this. Okay. Alright. Change attack. Area centroid. Get that on there and snap to point. There we go. Okay, all that just to do this. Rhino 8s are always extrudes a solid, but I don't like solids until I want them. And then blend surface, this one to this one. Oh, it's supposed to be smaller. Right. Gone way off track here. Just going to back up a few steps. See, where did we go wrong? Okay, we're back to here. 3-point circle. 1, 2, 3. Delete that one. Extrude this one. Isolate these guys. Delete that. Delete that. Bottom view. Align to area centroid. I'm sorry, this is a bit tedious. I did say to one of the subscribers that it can get a bit boring. I mean, I like it, but for sure I can see how it wouldn't make the most exciting viewing. Okay, blend surface. There we go. Turn the scan back on. Yeah, I think that's what we're after. Okay, this comes across to the surface layer. Alright, there we go. Okay, now I guess we do the same out to here. So this one I think we need 2 sections from. One here and one here and one here. Okay, turn the scan off. Let's have a look at them. Okay, starting to get into a bit more of an oval shape, but I think that's actually intentional, not a scan issue. Yeah, okay, that's as that blends into there. Okay, this is a little bit of a tricky one. I think what we should do is finish off the main bottle area. I think we should do this part and then transition from here to here. What do you think? What do you think? Okay, but so far we're looking alright, aren't we? So I think I'm going to call that part 1. So thanks for your attention, and I'll be back in the next day or two with part 2. Cheers.